when I was like 15, 16, like before I had my brand, dude, like I was trying to buy cool clothes, but like I didn't have the money. I was just like a broke kid in high school. So like that's why I do it.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jesse Nyberg Podcast. Today we're here with Sal from 8thwndr, super cool streetwear brand, and excited to talk with him today. How you doing, man?
Dude, I'm stoked to be here. I think you hit me up like a month ago or something to do a podcast, and I checked your page out. I help people I know fuck with you, so it felt like it made sense to do this.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's something, there's something interesting about that idea of like, I don't know, like social, I guess, currency or something like that. Like you see someone and you're like, oh, they know this person. Like I might like them then, you know, if that person like likes them or whatever.
Dude, it's like opened so many doors for me. Like artists I know, like some people, like I'm sure you can relate as a designer, like certain people won't take commissions from certain people. Mm-hmm. But then like it kind of unlocks the tier, like when I've worked with someone they fuck with, because that's happened a few times for me in the past. They're like, oh dude, like this guy put me on, he said you're sick, like let's totally do something.
Mm-hmm. It's cool, but it's like also whack at the same time, because it's like, oh well, it's you're the same person. It's just you unlocked like a new, like, it's like if it's a video game, you just unlocked like a new fucking area of the map to explore or something. Like, I've had people that hit me up, and if you scroll up, like I hit them up like years ago and they never responded, and now they're like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, damn, hopefully they don't scroll up because it looks awkward, you know?
Nah, dude, I always unsend my messages because like I hit up like a bunch of rappers or something like a few years ago, like my brand was really small. And like a lot of them like replied like when I like sent a message like last year or like this year, and it's like, damn, like if only you would have seen like my old messages.
Yeah, for real. I guess that's a good thing though, you know, in the end of the day, because it means that like shit's growing, you know, and that you're like getting more clout, for lack of a better word, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I got you.
What have you kind of been up to this week?
Our drop was last Thursday. So we just did like a 4-day drop from Thursday to Sunday. And so we shut that down last night, placed the order and everything. And now we're kind of just wrapping up, finishing up May, finishing up June, and then we're about to tackle July. We're trying to get like really far ahead with drops, but like it's a little difficult because of like all the back end stuff we've been having to do. A lot of the marketing we're implementing this year. Like we're really trying to take like a different approach. And so we're just plugging away, me and my employee, Evan.
What does he do for you exactly?
So he's the brand manager. He's got a corporate marketing background. He's been in the streetwear scene for over 10 years. He's like really experienced and knows a lot about just the streetwear as a whole, marketing. So we're kind of implementing a lot of these traditional strategies to 8thwndr versus a lot of like the underground. So like what I'm trying to do is kind of bridge the gap between underground streetwear and mainstream streetwear, but like in a cool way that hasn't really been done before. Because we're in Zoomies now. I think I don't know if you saw that or not, but we're really trying to show people that there are a lot of cool brands still out there that still have a lot to prove. And Zoomies gets a bad rap on the internet sometimes, and I don't know why that is. But we're just trying to show people that there's good things about Zoomies, and it's not bad to go mainstream because you can still be cool and be like, it's for lack of a better word, like you can be cool and mainstream both at the same time. Yeah,
there's always a weird like kind of life cycle that these brands have where no one knows about it and it's not that cool. Then people know about it and they feel like they're cool because they know about it, and it's like this kind of insider, like low-key thing, and then it becomes popular in the underground, and then it's like cool, and that's almost like the peak in the sense of like niche popularity. But then sometimes you go to Zoomies or like whatever other types of like mall stores, and then for whatever reason, like I've seen brands do it well and other brands like not do it so well, that adapting to that. But then I don't know, people like, you know, it's too cool now, like everyone knows about it, so it's not like, I think people at the end of the day, they want to feel like they know it on like a secret, you know? That's like the whole vibe.
Totally, dude. I feel that, and I feel like that's kind of where 8thwndr has been for a little while, but I'm trying to like take it to the next level of like where something like Supreme, where like everyone knows about it, but it's still cool for like it's got that that feel to it where it's like, wow, like Supreme, like wow, Palace, like all these brands, like even I'm wearing like Stussy right now, like they're one of my favorites, but like they're still big, but like not everyone knows about them kind of thing. Like that's kind of what I'm going for.
Yeah, and like brands like Stussy are interesting because they've kind of been around for so long that they've went like in and out of like the kind of like cultural mainstream or whatever. Like they were super popular in the 90s, and then it was kind of, they were like kind of on the back burner, and then it feels like brands like that are coming back in a way.
Yeah, totally. They were like the first streetwear brand. I didn't really get that much into Stussy until like I always knew about them, but I didn't really check them out until like 2 years ago. And then I started like looking at their stuff and I was like, wow, like these are people who are doing like a lot of cut and sew stuff. Like I know the Sinatra family owns it, and I'm like, wow, like Stussy's really like remained true to their roots, but also have expanded as a brand and as a whole. And that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing too. Like I'm trying to remain true to myself when I started, but I'm also trying to like implement a lot of new things, do things differently, and just kind of level up the brand as a whole. Yeah,
it's always interesting to learn some of the history of that stuff too. Like I was chatting with this guy recently, and he's like older. He's like 40 something, I believe. And he was talking to me about like Carhartt Whip. And I always thought that was like a newer thing. And he told me he used to go to the Carhartt Whip store in like the late 80s in like London and shit. And I didn't even know that they were doing that since then.
Yeah, I didn't know they were doing that long either. I felt like it was like something new. Like I would have thought they just started it within like the past 10 years, because like I feel like Carhartts have like just blown the hell up. Like I'm even wearing double knees right now, like Carhartt double knees. Like everyone's got a pair.
Yeah, and this dude was telling me like Carhartt's had that life cycle as well. Like it was super popular when he was in high school, and then like in the 90s it had a big popularity, and then it went back down, and now it's like back in this like, I don't know, like vintage streetwear, whatever scene you want to call it.
Nah, yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like everything makes a return at some point. Like zip up hoodies, for example. Like, dude, like 2 years ago, like it was not cool to wear a zip up hoodie, I feel like, and now everyone's got like the full zip hoodies and everything. And I'm like, it's just crazy to see like what'll be next.
As a person that runs a brand, do you try to like look into the future in that way at all? Like, are you ever trying to figure out what may be something that's going to pop, or are you kind of just like doing your thing, and if it works out, it works out?
A little bit of both. Like I'm trying to just do whatever I think is cool personally, but I'm also looking at like market data. Here's like free game for everyone. Like Pantone color of the year is like huge for like streetwear, dude. Like that's like this year, like a nice like light purple. It's called like periwinkle or something like that. Personally, I'm colorblind, so like I can't even see it how you guys can see it probably. Yeah. But it's supposed to be like a really cool color, and I'm doing like this cool double layered hoodie that's like that color. Kind of reminds me of like that Kanye 2020 Vision hoodie, but Pantone color of the year, and I'm doing like a lot of trend analysis too, to try to stay up on that. But also at the same time, I'm like, fuck that, because like I just want to make what I think is cool, and like I know my audience, I want to like make what they think is cool too.
What's nice is when you do what you want and it just like kind of coincidentally works out in the way that is like cool or whatever, because then you're not really compromising on like doing something because it's popular. You just like happen to be ahead of it. Yeah, this color is very Perry, if anyone wants to look it up. That's what it's called. I remember they had the coral one like a few years ago, and a lot of shit was using that. The guy I was referencing to, I did an episode with him. His name's Jeremy Dean. I just wanted to correct that because I said James and then I said Dean, so I don't want to misname anyone. I wanted to know a little bit kind of on your background with 8th Wonder, and if you could kind of take me a little bit through like why you wanted to kind of start the company in the first place.
Yeah, totally. So I started this in 2017. I was 16 years old. I was going into my junior year of high school. I'm 21 right now. So I was kind of like at a loss for what I wanted to do for life. I had always thought I want to like make YouTube videos, so I tried doing that for a little bit when I was like 14, 15. Didn't really work out, but I started
like skating and shit.
Yeah, I was like skating since like, I'm not even kidding, since I was like in kindergarten, dude. My parents got me like the skateboard, and at this mall near us, like there was this giant skate park. Like it's where Ashad Ware used to skate, Trevor Colden, like a lot of other legends from like the Northeast used to go there. It's called like Black Diamond Skate Park. They now tore it down, but like I used to go there and like skate all the time. And that's kind of where I got like my first real introduction to skating, and like I just fell in love with it, and like fell in love with like all the clothes that came along with it. Like I was really, my favorite brand when I was like younger was like Blind Skateboards. Like to this day, they're still sick. I have like a blind deck on the wall like somewhere.
Yeah, I had
there.
Mark McKee on the podcast recently. He's the guy who designed a bunch of the blind characters and like the Flame Boy and the Devil Man for World Industries and stuff.
Dude, I gotta tap in with him. He's sick.
Yeah, he's tight. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was like really into Blind, like really into like Element, all these like brands that came along with that. Even Vans, because like when I was little, like I'd never heard of anything like that, because I was only wearing like DC's, Osiris's, like, yeah, and I guess Vans that comes with it. But like when I first started to get like into skating, everything, it was like a whole new world opened up to me, and I was like fell in love with it. And I'm talking like I was like 7-8 years old at this time, dude. And so I just kept skating. Went through middle school still skating, everything like that. Then high school, tried to do the YouTube stuff, and then that didn't really work out. So I was like, what do I really want to do? And so I was like really listening to like underground music, like Suicide Boys, Puya, all that stuff. And along with that comes like a lot of the underground brands. So like I was really into like FTP and like a lot of other brands. And so I was like, dude, I could totally do something on my own. And so what I did was contacted a local print shop, got 50 t-shirts made just with my logo on it, because like I didn't really know what I was doing, honestly. And so we just like sold them locally, and it took me like 2 months to sell these 50 t-shirts. And like once I did, like I was like, damn, like this is crazy. And like I remember getting clowned in high school. Like I'd literally like bring a box of t-shirts to school every day, and people would be like, oh dude, your band's never gonna work out, like, oh, you're fucking
I did that
weirdo.
same shit, but I just didn't stick with it like you. But that's cool, man. It's cool to hear that, like, that's really all it is to keep doing it. You know, you have to be good at something, but everyone's going to be in that beginning part where they're like hella embarrassed, or your friends are clowning on you or whatever.
Nah, yeah. And so from there, that was like my first drop, I guess you'd call it. And like I wasn't really like advertising on social media. Then for the second drop, I made like some hoodies, and like I couldn't really sell them. So at the time I was like working a job at like a grocery store, and like I was just like buying and selling streetwear to like make a little extra money. So like I bought another pair of Yeezys, like I flipped the Yeezys, made some more tees, and that like took me like another year. And so like for the first couple of years it was a very slow start, nothing really crazy. And then in 2019 I was like going into my senior year of high school. I was like, damn, like I really don't want to go the college route. Like I really think I have something here, because like a lot of my family members and friends would be like, oh, you should totally do this brand shit, like it'll work out as long as you work hard. And like I just like watch FTP and a bunch of other brands like really like just blow up. Like I've seen so many brands that are relevant today, like just I've seen them start from nothing and come up too. And it's very relatable, because it's kind of what happened to me. Like, and I feel like I still have a long way to go. But in 2019, that's kind of where I had the idea to do a monthly $8 shirt. So I'm sure you know, but we do $8 t-shirts every month. So that was when I had the idea. And so I decided to drop every single month in 2019. And during this time too, like I was dead ass like on my phone. Like I had two phones. I had like my new phone and like my old iPhone. And like I made burner accounts and like would just go through Instagram, like go through certain like streetwear people and like influencers and stuff like that, like they're following, and I'd be like, yo, like DM me on like this account, like DM my brand or whatever. And then I did that, and it took me from like 1,000 followers to like 10,000 followers. Like I was dead ass like doing that shit like 17 hours a day, like whenever I wasn't working, like all that stuff, dude. It was a grind. And that's like really how I built up that initial I guess it would be like a buzz, but it wasn't even like a buzz, because like people didn't really give a fuck, because like I was just coming to them. But then in 2020 I was like halfway into like my first semester of college, and it was right before the whole COVID shit happened.
Oh, so you did end up going to school still?
Yeah, I did. So I went for a semester and a half, just like community college. I went for like business or whatever, and it's kind of crazy too, because my finance teacher, he's actually my accountant. He's like a CPA and everything. Yeah, so like it's kind of like come full circle, which is really cool. But so 2020 I started using TikTok, because Gary Vee was saying like TikTok's like the future, and this was at the time where like if you use TikTok, like it was just like another dancing app, like you were like a weirdo if you were on TikTok. And so I made like a video on there and it got like 500K views, and I feel like I was like one of the first underground or like maybe even like streetwear brands as a whole on there, because after that like I told like a bunch of people they got their brands on there, and then like everyone just started getting on TikTok. And
what were you doing on there, like just showing the clothes and stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Like the first video that went viral for me, I was like just kind of like, yo, like my name's Sal, like I've been doing a brand for like 3 years, check out some of my clothes. Like I was just showing them, I was like, if this video blows up, I'll give away like 5 things, and it got like 500K views, and the TikTok account went from like 100 followers to like 10,000 followers in a matter of like 3 hours, dude. Like it was insane.
Yeah,
I'd never seen wild. That. Yeah, because it took me like over 2 years to hit 10K on Instagram, and like just to hit 10K in a matter of hours on TikTok, it was like unheard of. And it also converted to our Instagram. And so what I was doing that whole year of 2020 was just like running up TikTok, working with a lot of influencers who were new to TikTok and like weren't really managed, so they didn't like know their value. And I was like getting like really good promo rates, stuff like that. And that's kind of how we went from like 10K to like 150K. And then last year we just kind of tried to focus more on the Instagram side, do a lot more behind the scenes brand building, pretty much just to make sure that 8th Wonder has the longevity it needs, because I'm not just trying to be a brand that's like in and out. Like I deadass 8th Wonder will be here for the long run. So that's kind of where I'm at last year. And this year we hired our first full-time employee. I have an intern. I have a lot of people working with me in other alleys, and so it's gearing up to be a huge year, honestly.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I didn't know that you did all that TikTok stuff, but I assumed you did something in that nature, because I did see the account grow like fairly rapidly, like in that, I guess, 1 year's time or whatever. Do you have, because I know you were designing the original stuff, right? So like the kind of paintbrush looking logo and things like that. And what, did you have any background in like creating design stuff or anything like that when you first started, or were you just like trying it out pretty much?
Oh God, no, dude. I am like the worst designer. Like my goal every year, like for like the past 2 years, my goal has been like design one piece fully for like the whole year. Like I don't like do a lot of creative stuff. I don't really consider myself like a good artist. Like I know what looks good, and like I have like visions, and I know who can execute them very well. So that's why I work with like a large pool of designers. But at first I was just like using Photoshop, like using like fonts, like Illustrator. I took like a graphic design class in high school, but like even then, like it didn't really help me. Like I'm just like the kind of person where like anything I make like myself, like I'm gonna hate it for some reason.
Yeah. Do you how early on then did you start like outsourcing artwork? Was it pretty fast?
It was pretty fast. It was like my third drop. There's this girl who went to my high school, pretty good friend of mine. Shout out Hannah. She did this design. She's a really talented artist. She made this Red Roses design. And that was the first piece I had it done that was like something I made. And it was like a really cool rose design, pretty basic for... With
the 8, right?
This one? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm seeing it.
And so she did that. And then throughout 2019, I was designing like all the $8 shirts and a bunch of other pieces just to like save money. Like I really could not afford designs like on a monthly basis. So that's kind of why I was like doing it really DIY. I didn't really know much about like photo bashing or how to like do any of that like Photoshop stuff. So like it was all like on Illustrator I was doing.
Right. Yeah. Especially with the $8 shirt, like I'm sure that's like that business model, like it's a cool idea, and I think it's something that's going to keep you like having this thing, you know, that people kind of connect the brand with. That's like a cool ongoing tradition. But I'm sure at that price, like it's not very viable to like pay for that much creative on it, because it's not breaking, like the margins are a lot lower than the ones you're selling for like whatever, $28 or whatever the other prices are.
Yeah, so back in the day, like I really couldn't afford to get art, like I said, but now it's like completely different, because I could probably stop doing $8 shirts tomorrow and like my brand would still continue to flourish. Like I just do it like because when I was like 15, 16, like before I had my brand, dude, like I was trying to buy cool clothes, but like I didn't have the money. I was just like a broke kid in high school, so like that's why I do it. Like young kids, dude, cool. They're gonna get those $8 shirts and like they're gonna be like feel like they're a part of something. They're rocking a cool streetwear brand for the low. Like they're not even breaking the bank.
Yeah, that's nice, because I felt the same way, especially when like you start to get into like shit that's cooler or whatever, and you can't even get the drops, and you try to buy it on like Grailed or whatever, and you're like, well, I could buy this t-shirt for like $60, but I'm not gonna be able to buy anything else for like the rest of the month, you know?
Yeah, right. Like that's just not what I want to do. But like, if you buy an $8 tee and like you're gonna come back, you're gonna get that $8 tee. You're gonna be like, wow, like this is really cool. Like I fuck with this brand, like what they're doing. Like you're gonna come back and get something else too, and like really start to become a loyal 8th Wonder supporter. Why
did you call the brand 8th Wonder?
So the name came to me like when I was dead ass mowing my lawn. I've always been like really intrigued with like Greek mythology.
So like 16, right, at this time?
Yeah. Okay. So like, I'm just like mowing the lawn, like AirPods in, listen to like a No Jumper podcast or something like that. Like 2016, like when the Prime music was out and everything. So I'm just like, there's 7 wonders of the world, so I'm gonna make like the 8th wonder. Actually, well, here's a funny story. Like some people know this, but like I don't know a lot of people do or not. But I thought there was like 9 wonders of the world, and like this is like the period of time where like I didn't like tell anyone I was starting a brand because like I was scared like what my friends were gonna think. Like I didn't know if they were gonna be like, that's cool, or they're gonna be like, the fuck are you doing? Like you're lame as shit. So I told like my best friend, I was like, dude, like I'm starting this brand called 9th Wonder. Like it's called 9th Wonder because there's 8 wonders of the world, and like I want to be the 9th. And my homie was like, dude, like you're so fucking stupid. There's 7 wonders of the world, like blah blah. So I changed the name real quick, like, and we dropped the vowels out. That's why it's like 8th Wonder with no vowels, because like it looked a lot cooler.
That's when I emailed you earlier. The first time I put the E, I think, dude, the ER.
No one knows this, dude, but I fucking hate when people spell my brand name with an E. Like that happens so occasionally. Like it's just like a pet peeve of mine. Like
yeah,
it just bothers me. But that's all good. I'm not like tripping about it.
Do you know 9th Wonder, the producer, too?
Dude, people have told me about him. Like I know he's like a legend or whatever, but I don't really know too much about him. But shout out to him.
He's dope, but I'm not saying that like, you know, it's that big of a deal, but I'm sure like it would have caused some kind of confusion, you know, down the road. So even if you were correct in your theory and there was 8 wonders or whatever, it's probably for the better that you named it 8th, you know, because you don't want to be associated with another thing.
That is true. Like there's this brewery somewhere, like it's like they're like really well known. They're called like 8th Wonder Brewery, and like people DM me, like they'll tag me and post with like beer and shit, like thinking I'm the 8th Wonder Brewery, and I'm like, dude, like that's not me. You got the wrong guy.
You guys should do a collab or some shit. That'd be dope.
Dude, I know, like get my own IPA or something.
Yeah,
call like 8th Wonder flavored.
Yeah, and you can charge like $8 pints or something at the bar.
There you go. I'm gonna use that.
We're gonna have to. We'll have to connect the dots there.
I like it.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you because you're pretty like tapped in with a lot of people that I like and that I know, and I feel like it's more apparent. Like a lot of other brands that I really like, I know they have good design, and whether it's in-house creative or they're outsourcing it, it's not as like obvious who's making it, because the people that I follow are actually saying, you know. For like Doron, for example, I made this for 8th Wonder or whatever. What's the process like for you when working with when working with designers on the client side and like commissioning a designer? Like, do you give them art direction, or do you let like their style kind of convey into like the 8th Wonder brand?
So the way that always works for me is like I'm like really good at coming up with like the ideas. I have like a huge list of designers that I'm like pretty good friends with or like close with. I have like the idea, and I know exactly who to go for what that idea is. So like if it's like a planet design or something like that, like I'll be like, oh, like Doron would snap on this. Or if it's more like something more playful, I'll be like, oh, dude, like Colin Taniguchi, who's like a really dope artist from Dali City in California. Like I'll be like, oh, he'll fucking snap on that too. Like I just know who will kill what idea and like exactly what I'm going for. So that's kind of like how I process that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to have that I guess like intuition after working with different people, because yeah, like you're not gonna have a Doron or whatever draw like a fucking cartoon or some shit, you know?
Yeah,
it's like totally different. That's cool though. I like that. How do you first discover, I guess, like the network of people you work with? Just scouring Instagram?
Yeah, honestly, what I was doing was going to a lot of brands I really like they're like huge, and trying to see like who made their graphics, and like if I would find one then like that'd be a gold mine, because like a lot of times designers follow other designers, so I just go to their following, like look through people's work and like just find people from there, and like I'd find out like, oh, this guy follows that guy too, like let me work with him, or word of mouth, like because a lot of people would recommend me designers to work with, like so yeah, that's pretty much how that goes for me. To this day, that's still how I find a lot of my designers.
That's that the fact that you're saying that, like that makes me happy that you do it that way, but it also makes me annoyed because I know there's a lot of brands that don't say who made it, you know? So like you're probably looking at it and there's times where you probably meet a dead end and you can't even figure out like who designed the graphic. And I wish that like a lot of other industries do a lot better job at like crediting shit. Like for example, you'll see a photo shoot of like an actor and they'll credit all the way down to like who did like the lipstick or whatever, you know? But then someone creates like an entire like designed campaign and they're just like, oh, we forgot to credit it.
Nah, yeah, I personally, I don't, I'm sure like it's a pain in the ass for you guys, but like I've never had to like deal with that. Like I'm sure like as a designer, you guys put in like a lot of the hard work, like doing the design and everything, like just to get no credit. Like I'd feel like a little upset. So like what I always do is I always tag the designers in like the photos too. So like even like the young streetwear kids who are like, they have like a little brand or something like that, they're trying to get dope art, like they can even go and like it's like free game at the same time, like they can go see who's designing, like 8th Wonder is close, like their favorite brand, they can go see who 8th Wonder is working with and commission them too, because a lot of times like you said, like I can't find the designer who made stuff I like, but also it's like kind of like rewarding when I end up finding someone, I'm like, oh no way, they did that piece, like I really fuck with that, like, I'm totally gonna work with this guy now.
Right. It's kind of like we were talking about earlier with the following stuff. Like it also validates that person like a lot when you see that they already worked with, you know, some other brand fucking awesome, or FTP or whatever it may be, you know?
Yeah, but a lot of these brands too that I've noticed, like a lot of them have like a very small pool, and like they're like on the brand like as like a designer, like they're not doing work for anyone else, which is like it's cool, but at the same time it's like not cool. Like there's like it's like a double-edged sword.
When have you noticed, like I'm sure you've noticed, but when do you think this started happening? So you know how I'll use Doron again as an example. I think he's the main like cause of this problem, and in the style of, you know, like the photocopied like threshold like photo collage designs that are created in Photoshop and then created into screens. It seems like a lot of these brands have that look now, right? And they're all starting to look kind of similar when it comes to that, like that aesthetic. And I'm curious, like, have you seen, when did you first start seeing that all kind of blow up? And you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I know exactly what you mean. God, dude. I met Doron when he had like less than 1,000 followers. Like I knew him like late 2020, and Doron, if you're watching this and you didn't have 1,000 followers, like I'm sorry, dude, I'm just taking a rough guess. Like I'm pretty sure me and Doron are good homies. That's my brother right there. I hope to meet him one day in real life. He's a good dude. But I worked with him like very early on when he wasn't doing like much work for other brands, and so he definitely had that like style about him that like I hadn't really seen before. Like it was really like unique at the time. And then all through like late 2020, early 2021, like, and 2021 as a whole, like Doron just like blew the fuck up. Like he was making like all these mock-ups, tutorials and everything. And he was giving out his game too, like, which I like respect the hell up. He sells like all these like texture packs and everything. He's got like graphic hardware Discord server. Like he's really like for the designers, but also at the same time another double-edged sword, because anyone can come and like just jack Doron's style, and there's like so many Doron copies out there nowadays, but like they don't even try to like make it not obvious too. Like they're like dead ass taking like Doron's concepts and, man,
I was looking at your fucking contest, which is its own thing that I said I don't necessarily agree with, but I was looking at the contest and I was like, so these are all made from Doron's tutorial, I see, you know, like a lot of the concepts, like, and no one owns a style, and I'm not talking shit at all because I use tutorials on other stuff, and nothing's really like new under the sun, but I think streetwear it's like that shit's just blown up, and I'm curious to kind of see how long that style kind of lives on for. I think if anything, it may be at its like plateauish area.
I don't know. I feel like those graphics will always be prevalent in some case. Like they might not be the main thing, but they're always going to be there. They're kind of like really like vintage styled. Like they would work great on like a wash t-shirt kind of thing. Like they're really like, yeah, you know exactly what I'm saying. And like I know no one owns the style, but you can't deny that like Doron definitely like popularized it.
Yeah, there is no denying that. There's a few people that kind of pushed it to the forefront. I'm looking at this all over print that you did, this NASCAR type one. Is there like a specific company that does that, huh?
Yeah, like everyone uses them. Like there's this company that like everyone uses for their all over prints, but like they're valid, dude. I
see their ads.
Like, yeah, I used them like last year before like no one really knew about them. And like they like blew the fuck up because like they're on ads and everything. Like everyone talks in like streetwear. No, but they're valid though.
It's them. Like they remind me also of like all the like liquid blue shit. It's like kind of the same vibe. Who were some, you mentioned FTP and something else in the beginning, but who were some of your other kind of inspirations when you were first starting the brand? And was there any brands you looked to for like stylistic influence?
A lot of the brands I looked up to then like aren't the ones I look up to now. Definitely FTP I still look up to this day. Like Zach is a legend. Like I was just in LA when he was doing that Huff FTP collab, and like I was there like the Friday night before, like just after he announced like the pop-up and everything like that, and like there were people lined up on the whole block like just to stay there overnight. Like that man's built a cult audience. Like Zach is a legend for streetwear. Like he's going to continue to like flourish. Like FTP is fucking amazing. I even got the board. Like
I see that. I love their FTP shit. Their shit's dope. I love the like kind of lore around him not using his face and stuff too. Whenever you see people tagging him in pictures, they'll throw like an emoji on it or whatever.
But some other brands I did look up to at the beginning, definitely Supreme. Like I know everyone says they like love Supreme, but like I love Supreme because like I was like a skater and like I appreciated all the skate stuff they were doing, not just like the clothes and like the hype aspect of it. Like they do make dope shit. Like now that like I'm like older and I'm able to like afford more, like I'm like kind of fulfilling like my 16-year-old's like desire for Supreme. Like so I've been like buying more Supreme than ever because like I couldn't do that when I was 16, and like now I can. It's like so cool to me that like I can have all these brands. And like Palace too. Like I went to the Palace store in LA. I had a blast there. Their store is fucking sick.
That's dope. Yeah, even when I was in college, I remember like splurging on like some Bape tees and like some Palace stuff. And when they didn't even have it, I was getting it from like the London store or whatever. And you'd buy it and it's like, it was cool. But looking back, like I barely think I want to buy that stuff now. So I definitely couldn't afford it then. Like I was just spending like all my money on that shit, even though it probably wasn't a good idea.
Same, because like when I was like young and I like work at a grocery store, like I would spend all my money like every week. I'd spend my paycheck on clothes. Like dude, FTP always drop, like they're like the perfect example. Like they drop on like Saturdays, and like I would always be working on Saturdays, so like I would always like have to duck into the bathroom or like go hide somewhere in the corner just like buy their shit.
For sure. The is there any like what's the kind of methodology for you behind the way you do your drop and like the scheduling?
Oh god, dude. I just like drop when like no one else is dropping, because like I want like everyone to the focus to like really be on me. I like Thursdays. I don't know why, dude. I just like Thursday. Thursday's like a great week. It's like the day before everyone gets paid. Like
that's when I dropped the podcast too. I like that day for some reason.
It's just a happy day for me. Like I just like Thursday's energy. And like 8 o'clock I do 8 p.m. because like number one, 8th Wonder 8, like blah blah. And like also like no one's doing anything at 8 p.m. on a Thursday night. Like they're gonna be like ready to like buy clothes or like sit around for the drop. Like there's nothing going on. Whereas like you do like Friday night like at 8, like people are gonna be like out like doing shit.
Right. And even over here, if it's like 5, you're just getting off work or whatever, you could probably still make it happen if you really want to buy some stuff.
Exactly.
So usually go from Thursday to the end of the weekend, right? You said?
Yeah, Thursday to like Sunday night.
And if stuff doesn't sell, like you still just cut it, right?
Yeah, so I do like some stuff pre-made, some stuff made to order. A lot of these brands do made to order nowadays. Like they take like forever to ship, but like I'm like pretty good, dude. I use like a manufacturer like that no one like else uses. They're like huge on like the East Coast, but like we get shit turned around pretty fast for like our size. Like everything's shipped out in like under 3 weeks every time, and that's like how I'm able to like still drop every month.
Right. Yeah. It seems like for better or for worse, people have become a lot more like, even though we live in the Amazon era where everyone gets stuff like instantly, they've also became a lot more accepting of like, I see people selling, you know, anywhere from like prints to clothes or whatever, and like they'll straight up say in the thing like, please allow 1 month or whatever, like for shipping, and like people are just fine with that. And it's interesting because when someone really wants something, like that's not going to be the deterrent from them. Like if someone's not buying something from you because how long it's going to take to get it, then they probably don't really care about it that much, you know?
Exactly, dude. And like that's another thing too. Like I'm personally like whenever I order clothes like online, like I'm just impatient as fuck. Like I just try to order them and like forget I ordered them, so like I just get like surprised in the mail. Like I don't ever like check the tracking numbers or anything like that. Like I just like get it and like hope I just comes randomly one day and surprises me. But there are some things that like if like I want it now, like I want to go buy it today. Like that's just kind of how I am.
Yeah.
But, that just really, like, it's like you said, it shows that people like really care about you as a brand if they're willing to like wait for that, and like that's like really cool that people are like willing to do that for me and my brand.
Yeah. So what was the inspiration behind starting the like Sunday comics type thing, and also this like 8-ball character? Is that something you came up with?
Yeah, so he's the skate ball. Like I kind of like, as corny as it is, he's like kind of like a visualization like / like a representation of like who I am like as a person. Like, and the comic things, it's just like I want to be more than just like a brand just like posting clothes. Like I started the comics account to like kind of use as like a creative outlet. My man Ethan from New Zealand, aka /Monkey, he does all the 8thwndr like illustrations and everything. He does all the comics. He does a lot of drop his live work for me. Like he did this cool animation video, like this little repeating thing that we posted for last month's drop. He does like a lot of that cool stuff, and so I like kind of give him a concept, or sometimes he'll come up with a concept on his own. Like last night's comic he came up with on his own, like Sopranos themed comics. Like I'll just take like some of my favorite things, whether that be like Star Wars, superheroes, like it could be anything, and like we'll just make like a little comic about it just to like do something fun, like give people something to look forward to. They can check out the 8thwndr Instagram, but then like if they're like really into the brand, like they'll dive deeper and look like we have the comics account, and they're like, man, like I fuck with this brand heavy. Now I can sit there and look through over a year's worth of comics. I can go look at all these, and we're actually working on the second comic book right now. We just got like the first sketches today, so
that's dope.
I just love comics, and just kind of made sense for me to incorporate them. And like the skateball guy, like he's just like the brand's mascot, like how like World Industries has Wet Willie and Flameboy, like that's like what the skateball is to me.
Yeah, that's cool. And it's nice to just do something like separate from the brand, but also in it that's just kind of like the passion little project on the side, because like even if it's not something that's like, everything doesn't have to be like a revenue generator, you know, like you can just do shit for fun sometimes. And I feel like people like lose that sometimes when they start running a business.
No, literally, dude, it's just there to like express myself. Like every comic, like every week is like how I'm feeling at the time. It's just something fun, and like I do it for like everyone, like because there's people who like DM me every week. They're like, dude, like this week's comic was fire, like you should do this kind, like this theme next week, and like stuff like that. Like I can really appreciate, and like it just shows like it just makes me happy, honestly.
Yeah. I saw you mentioning that you're gonna do like another skate deck, and I see you have all that shit back there, your own and some others. How much of like your audience do you think is like rooted in skateboarding versus people that just like streetwear or clothing?
Honestly, I feel like it's pretty balanced. Nowadays in like 2022, I feel like streetwear and skateboarding are kind of like, the styles are very, very similar. Like,
yeah,
especially like after that whole like Thrasher movement where like every poser was like wearing Thrasher and shit like that, like it's just all mixed in together now. But a lot of people who wear 8thwndr I definitely know skate, like even when I go to the skate park, like kids, like they know who I am, like they know about the brand, they're like, dude, like you're the guy who makes 8thwndr, like that's fucking like sick.
That's tight.
So I'd say a lot of skaters do know about 8thwndr.
Do you have any plans like to expand that more, like as the brand grows, like maybe like become like a brand that would sponsor like skateboarding or anything like that?
Oh god, dude, I've been trying forever, but the thing is, like, it is so hard for me to like find time to do that. Like that's why I need like find some kid or like find someone to like do all this for me, because like I'm more like focused on like building the brand up right now. That like,
sure,
I want to like put out skate videos. I want to be doing more in like the skate community, but like it's just hard for me to find time. Like I know I have to make time, but like I need to find like someone who's like really like tapped in.
Sure.
I don't have the patience to like sit there and go through Instagram all day to like just to find like 5 or 6 skaters that like may tell me to just go fuck myself if I like offer them like clothes and a board or something like that.
Yeah. Also, like when you spread yourself too thin like that, it's just inevitable that the other things are all going to start to slip, you know. Maybe you put more time into this skateboarding like sponsorship endeavor, and then all of a sudden like you didn't drop this next month or whatever, you know, because I've been trying to practice that too, and like I'm not in a position to be like hiring anyone or anything like that, just as myself, but not trying to like when there's downtime, I'm always trying to do like so much shit, and then it gets busy again and I'm like, oh, I can't keep up all this shit. Like there's way too many, like everyone, like I always want to do like so many things that it's hard to come to that realization that you just gotta like focus on the shit that you're good at, you know, and just keep it up.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Like it's you said it perfectly. You gotta focus on what you're good at, and then like find someone who's good at what you're not good at. Like the hardest thing for me is kind of finding someone I trust to like do things, like delegating tasks. Like I am like such a control freak that like only this year is like the year where I'm like starting to like let people do things for me and like let take my hands off the wheel a little bit and kind of shift my focus a little bit, which has been great for the brand. And I'm trying to do that with the skate team thing too. But I can't even tell you how long I've wanted to have a skate team. I sponsored a few kids before, but it's ultimately fell through. But I'm trying to get something very consistent, like drop like a part, like an 8thwndr video kind of thing. Just be really active in the skate community. Yeah. Do
you have any plans to open like a brick and mortar store ever?
Oh, totally, dude. I want to have a couple stores around the country, maybe even overseas. Obviously want to do like the typical LA, New York. I'd love to have a store in Philly, because I'm from Jersey, which is pretty close to Philly. And I think that'll realistically happen within the next 5 years, maybe even less. Like who knows?
That's
but
dope.
I'm definitely gonna do a pop-up shop, maybe even 1 or 2 this year. I was planning on doing one last year, but it kind of fell through because COVID had spiked and kind of hard to find a spot.
It's interesting how brands now, it's almost like the reverse, where the older brands all had their stores and they were established in the world, but then they had to struggle to like transition into online, and it's the other way around for a lot of these like startups and new brands and stuff.
It is pretty crazy how that like all happens, but like I feel like everything's kind of like getting back to like real life. Like things are going back to normal, which is like great.
2 of the last things I wanted to ask you, one is if you have any advice for anyone that's maybe like looking to get into something like this and something that you maybe struggled with early on that you could help with. And then secondly, just what kind of, if you have any other kind of plans for the future of the brand, I'd be interested in hearing that. Yeah,
totally. So, everyone who has a brand or they are thinking about starting one, and like I'm gonna be completely honest, like there are days where like I just like want to quit, like want to give it up, like where I just don't want to get out of bed and like do it. But like I do this every day because there are like so many people out there who get stoked on like when I drop like a t-shirt, when I like show new clothes, stuff like that. Like it just makes people happy, and like me having that potential like change someone's day or like make them excited over like a piece of clothing is like really crazy to me, because I know how that feels like from the other end, being on the supporter side, whether that's like a Supreme t-shirt, like an FTP drop, stuff like that. Like it gets me stoked. So that's kind of why I do it. And I also you can't really put a price on being your own boss, so that's like what motivates me. But definitely there's so many like free guides out on the internet, whether that be YouTube, Virgil Abloh's like free game thing. There's so many places to, like, that'll tell you how to start a brand, like so that's what I use, and like I still use to this day. Like if I don't know how to do something, like I'll Google it, like watch videos on YouTube. Like there's just so much free information out there that like can teach you how to do anything. And I would just say people who don't know what to do, like, dude, just use Google and YouTube. Like ask your family members. Like people want to help you, and just don't be scared to start a brand too. Like you probably will get hated on by like people around you at first, but like if you believe in yourself, like I did, then like you'll see the vision and like pursue through it. And like success is the best revenge. So that's kind of how I've like proven it to everyone who's like hated on me. It's like, screw you, like look where I'm at now.
That's cool.
And in terms of like future plans, like I said, brick and mortar stores hopefully for the next 5 years, maybe even sooner. Like I'm just giving like 5 years, like that's like my guaranteed time span. But maybe even before then, who knows. Working on doing some collaborations with artists and other brands, working on doing a pop-up shop, more comics.
Where do you think you'll do that, if you have any insight on that so far?
Definitely Philly. Like I know a lot of people aren't really like from the East Coast, but I'm like rooted there, and it would make sense for me to do like my first one out there. So I think
that's like more poppin' than Jersey, right?
A lot of people will come out to Philly, show some love. We'd have like a great event, give out some clothes, have some good food, stuff like that. Like that's just what I really want to do. Like I want to meet everyone in real life. Like I feel like it'd be sick as hell. Yeah,
well, let me know when you make it to the LA pop-up. I'll come through.
Bet, man. I'll be in LA this summer too. If you got a link or something, grab some food.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you, man, for coming on. It was great chatting with you. It was great meeting you, and I'm glad we got through a few of the technical difficulties and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. My camera changed and everything, but
it's all
Jesse,
good.
It was great talking to you, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, of course. And everyone, if you don't already know, you can check out Sal's brand, 8thwndr, without the vowels, and on Instagram and all that stuff. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.